everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Simply Selicia, and it's finally another Simply series. We're going to talk about fan sites today. I've been working on this for a little bit. It's been hard trying to find a time to record everything, so now I am here. I'm going to talk about it. I have my notes over here, so I will be glancing over here a lot like usual. So I am just going to go ahead and get us into this. A fan site is usually, a person, or it could be a group of people that is, dedicating their time to supporting their idol. And it could be a specific idol in a group. It could be the full group. It depends on how many people are running, the fan site and everything. They often keep track of, the public schedule that is posted so that they can go to the events and take pictures and, all of that kind of stuff. They basically just kind of help promote their idol. They also help create fan projects, and they help, do special gifts and so on. So that's kind of what a fan site does. If I were to relate it to a concept that maybe a Western audience would be familiar with, it's kind of like a street team, but not really. A street team is a marketing tool where basically, there are people who are recruited to take things to the street, aka just, taking promotion directly to groups of people and just generating interest and generating kind of eyes on the thing. And the thing about a street team is they're usually promoting a product or a person or an event for a set period of time, where fan sites, that's, whenever they decide. So they just pick it up and go with it. It's whenever they decide to stop is when they stop. And I would say, a street team is generally working for a company, whereas a fan site, they can make money off of it personally, and they can also, kind of, they have more control over the way that they decide to promote. So, that's kind of the major difference. Fan site is kind of like a job in itself, where a street team fizzles out and is more of a marketing thing over time. We can kind of get into how fan sites work. In its purest form, fan sites are honestly, they're just appreciation. It's just appreciation of a certain idol. They work hard to promote the idols, they take beautiful pictures, and, it's something that fans use everywhere. A bulk of the content that we interact with is created by fan sites. We see pictures of idols everywhere. And especially on Twitter and social media, everywhere is where we see fan site content. And, we're out here, we're sharing the photos, the fan cams, we buy the special calendars and everything else. So when groups are forming and generating a fan base and getting started, these fan sites contribute a lot to what, they do. In its purest form, fan sites are honestly, they're just about appreciation. They work hard to promote their idols, they take beautiful pictures. It's something that we interact with on a daily basis. The work that they do is everywhere, and the bulk of the content that we interact with as fans is created by fan sites. We're out here, we're sharing the pictures with the fan cams, we're looking at the special calendars, and we're buying, special content that they have created. When groups are forming and generating a fandom, these fan sites help them a lot. And it contributes to their visibility and growth on social media and the reach that, they otherwise probably wouldn't have. So oftentimes I'd say that the content that fan sites spread and sell, they can do multiple things with those profits. So one thing, obviously, they have to fund going to overseas schedules and stuff like that. But also, it's not just for personal use. I'm sure they make decent amount of money. Oftentimes, fan sites already have part-time jobs and other things that they do, or they just have a lot of free time and ability to go to a lot of events. Also keeping in mind that a lot of events in Korea are a lot more open than they are over here. Everything over here from us, Westerners frame of mind, you gotta pay money to do a lot, and everything costs something. And it's not that, things don't cost to go to events and stuff over there, but also, like, you can get a decent, there are a lot of things that you just kind of can walk to and go to. Like, they're not as expensive, and that's just not something we are used to here. It's one of those things where it's like, all of our artists, this is their home base, but it doesn't mean we get a discount. So, like, we're just kind of not used to that type of availability. And so some fan sites, of course they make personal money, but also sometimes the money that they're making is going towards a special gift, or it's going towards, they kind of work with fans sometimes and ask for people to donate to do huge big gifts or huge fan events, or they also donate to a charity that the idol is in support of. So there's things like that. We always try our best to kind of donate things in our idols' names and everything else, as fandoms as a whole. So of course fan sites have a hand in that sometimes. And for really, really, like, talented fan sites, people who are really good at taking pictures and everything else, they can make a business out of this. Like, it's not impossible. You can sell your pictures anywhere. You can sell your pictures to the news and stuff. Like, they don't have to just keep it within us. Like, there are entire networks of people who might be looking for pictures for articles and stuff like that. Even though they can make money off of it, obviously we're talking about fan sites in their purest form, so, like, even though they can make money off of it and doing it, it's still just something that comes from appreciation and from just promotion of, like, your favorites. And of course, just like anything else, people can go off the deep end and just get really involved in just making money and everything else. Like, that is just something that is a human thing. It's something that people have to, it depends, and you never know. It could be anyone. So, that is not just fan sites. That's just general anyone with an opportunity to make money. It happens. So you just have to keep checking in with who you're following, and are they still doing something that you believe in and that you would support? These are questions that you have to ask yourself when you are in a fandom, and what are you going to interact with, what will you not? Fan site managers, often called master nims, they literally see each other like every day. They, like, not every day, but like every event. Like, if you are a fan site for a group, of course you see each other probably all the time. So they create friendships, they share information with each other. Think of it like, let's say I am like a Jin fan site, and I know my friend that I see at events all the time. We share, like, oh, I'm gonna be over here, like, put your stool next to mine and we'll take pictures together. Because you spend a lot of time, like, waiting in line and stuff like that. Let's say I am sick and I can't go to an event. Okay, well, I will ask my Taeyang fansite friend, if they get any pictures of him with Jin or anything else, like, send it to me, girl. And, like, they have a network where they can kind of trade those pictures. They can buy and sell amongst each other to help if they miss an event. And let's see, what do I have in my notes about this? Yeah, the thing about that is that it can be that type of familiarity for them, like, amongst fans and amongst each other, being that familiar and that easily identifiable to others in the nature of like their work and stuff. It can be great for their work, and it can also be detrimental if someone creates a problem or, like, blatantly breaks the rules, or like, if somebody obtains information from, like, the wrong source or something, and you and your friend end up where it was supposed to be, like, a private schedule and stuff like that. That happens. And it's hard to tell if somebody did it blatantly or if it was an accident. Fan sites get their information from public schedules that are posted by the companies. That information is open to everyone, and the fact is that fan sites work is so common and it is so beneficial to the reach of a group that sometimes smaller companies even work directly with fan sites and might pay them to use their photos and everything else, and work with them to spread information. So that is definitely a possibility. They really do promote the groups pretty well, and because they are, it's not like someone unfamiliar with them just coming to take a picture, and maybe they're a good photographer and do whatever. There is a difference when someone has a frame of reference for what somebody's personality is and can inject that into a photograph. Like, it does layer up. Like, that type of thing is important in media, and it's great when somebody is unfamiliar and can do that. Like, you're talented. But there is something to say about the quality of the photographs that fan sites put out there. It's not just whatever. Like, they are taking their time and dedicating themselves to this. Sometimes they already did like photography as a hobby and everything else. So like, it is a skill that anyone can learn, but it's not a skill that everyone can be successful at doing. So what do I want to say next about them? Not only do companies work with them sometimes, and that, fan sites work with each other. Fan sites, if you're talented, obviously you can sell it to a news outlet if you want. They can get paid for their photos in a lot of places. Some can sell them, much like a paparazzi could. The thing is, there is a main distinction between fan sites and paparazzi, because fan sites are, just following the public schedule. They're not supposed to be there at all times, collecting all kinds of photos and stuff of their private schedule. It's supposed to be public only, events only, fan sites, fan meets only. But paparazzi, the idea is that, whatever, any time to get the picture. So, most stick to that public schedule only. Most people are pretty good about it. We do see times where people are not, or they do the wrong thing, or they make a mistake, and sometimes, the idea is that, okay, somebody could make a mistake and take the wrong information, but also if they continue to do it, then something is wrong. Like, and I think that's, you see where fan sites can break the rules, or fan sites could also be a saucing. And, when you have saucing fans that become fan sites, who are following them no matter where because they're a saucing fan. We talked about that in our other Simply series, our very first ones. It plummets the image of fan sites as a whole, and it really affects, fans' perception of fan sites. I'd say the number one thing about fan sites is, like when they're generating kind of traffic for their idols, it is pictures. And they take pictures at events and they're sharing them on their social media. The number one debate these days, for sure, that I see is about airport photography. And, that's because K-pop as a whole is under, a bigger and bigger global lens every day. And because it's under a big global lens every day, it's one of those things where, is airport photography okay or not? Like, is this something that we should participate in? And, I'll dip into like some of the debates later on. I just kind of want to set the scene a little bit more about what I'm talking about. So like, first things first, before we even get into is it okay or not, we have to understand that for idols, fashion is a big deal. For K-pop, K-pop is about music it is about visual. Part of that visual is fashion. So like at all times and pretty much effortlessly, they have to be on point, whether it is, a fashion that is given to them for a concept or a fashion that, they have pieced together from their own interests. It's something that is just really important. And as K-pop exported to more and more places and brought, the charms of Korea all over the world, there is bigger interest in K-beauty, K-fashion, and everything else. So much so that airport fashion is a big deal. So like, people talk about this all the time. They are always interested in what is the idol wearing. And that's worldwide. That's something, red carpets and everything else. We're all interested in what idols are wearing. It's part of the media that surrounds them and like the spectacle of being a celebrity. And the idea I think that I'm just trying to get at here is that, you know, airport photography goes hand in hand with like that airport fashion. So like for airport fashion, it's such a big deal. Like they plan out their outfits ahead of time. And we've seen cases where like, there might be a case where somebody doesn't care that day. Fine. Like they're still like an idol. People are still gonna love them anyway. But the idea that they can get like punished for like some of their like games and stuff that carry over, like maybe they made a deal and now like your punishment is to wear this silly outfit for your airport fashion, and there's going to be like a million articles written about it and everything else. So like it is definitely a part of the culture. And you know even deeper than that, I think what I'm trying to get at is that whether an idol is just expressing their appreciation for some fashion, or if there is a company that made these pieces, that they are wearing, it's all about, it's consumerism. It's just, where there is an idol, whether they're just innocently wearing something they like, there's a company that created that or somebody who was involved in that. That can capitalize from that, so they will. And that's just kind of how it works, right? It's all about consumerism. We want to talk about, what is it wearing? People want to wear what they're wearing. They're going to go buy it. It's the dollar bill, y'all. Like, all the money really, plays into this a lot. And that's why it's such a big deal. That's why you see them at airports and stuff. That's where it comes from. Is basically, I'm trying to get you into that mindset of this is where it's coming from, for those of us who might not be familiar with that. So like I said, with the global lens on it, for the Western, like especially, we come from a background where, naturally, when you're looking at something unfamiliar to you, you filter it through your lens of like your own culture, your own beliefs, your own experience. So it's no secret that airports haven't been the safest place everywhere for everyone, whether it's, general person to person, it could be violence or anything else like that, or it could be related to terrorism. And, things like that have happened. It's part of history. It's part of just the everyday, like, airport safety has been flipped on its head for a long time now. And, the thing that happens is, people who are used to a more like succinct, this is for travel, like you're just to get in and get out. This is, a security risk. This is a problem. This is, we're used to that. So seeing when idols can go through certain airports and they're like mobbed by people and everything else, it all becomes very reactive, and it's a very reactive atmosphere on social media, especially Twitter. And the first people that get attacked for this I see all the time are Fansites. And this is what I usually see is like, oh, they have these big fancy cameras and everything else. Why are they so close? Why this? Why that? Zoom, do this, do this. And while I totally agree with the fact that why are you so close? Back the fuck up. But we also need to keep in mind that just because someone has a camera doesn't mean they're a fan site, you know? Like, there are annoying fans and sasaengs out there, just in general, on their own agenda. You know, they're getting too close. They're messing up the process too. They're messing up everything, you know? And it's like, those concerns don't get repaired overnight. And I'm just hoping to kind of point out that it usually starts with us individually before we start pointing fingers back and forth. Generally, I am of the opinion that as fans, we miss out on the point that if we were just calmer and still in those situations, and any like public situation where a celebrity is around, not only could fan sites get the pictures that they're wanting, but idols won't be crowded. Like, the area isn't congested. It'll be much safer for other people who are just trying to fly. You know, for everyone out there with your cameras up in their face, like, you know, if you're walking alongside them, like with your phone, following them and stuff like that, just quit the bullshit. Like, it doesn't make sense. It makes less than 0 sense. You know, if you are a fan site, if you're a fan, like whatever you are, if that is the scenario and that's what you're doing, you're wrong. Like, you're in the wrong. That is not a proper way to conduct yourself at all. And I think that, you know, because fan sites are always identified by like their cameras and stuff, you know, while I say that, I simultaneously want to remind people, like, just because someone has a fancy camera doesn't mean they have a fan site. You could go buy a fancy camera if you wanted to. Also a reminder that there are people who can just sell things to tabloids. You just, like I said, you just need a camera and enough skill to get a clear enough picture to sell it. Like, you know, just because fan sites aren't paparazzi doesn't mean that paparazzi and people who are out there just to benefit on a picture don't exist. Like, that's a worldwide thing. Like, it's not necessarily the fan sites, it's just someone else trying to profit. So, like, you know, that type of mentality exists everywhere. And it is, while we have to be vigilant of who we are following and what fan sites are doing, it's also not just fan sites doing that. It can just be regular run-of-the-mill people that aren't even fans that are just trying to make money too. So, like, that is a thing to take into account. In Korea, you can take pictures at most events or anything else. That is a big difference compared to us, where cameras really just aren't allowed. It's just different. It's a difference over here in the States or there. It's a cultural difference to take into effect. So, like, at airports, fan sites are generally allowed to take, like, pictures. They set up on the footpaths. They usually go, like, ahead of time and, like, claim their spot with, like, their stools and stuff that they'll sit and come back. They get in position. And obviously, like, the longer the path that the idol's walking down, like, the more chance they have to get the picture they're looking for. But everything like that, like, that's, it's just part of business as usual. It's part of public schedule. It's just another day over there. And I feel like, as an army, I know there have been countless situations where BTS has been mobbed at an airport, and it makes me super uncomfortable. Like, I really worry about stuff like that, and I can't just let it go in my head because of the history we have here. And now I know, like, I know that they just don't share that same history there. So, of course, the mentality about it is just different. I know that, and yet I just can't participate unless it is, like, a clear news source. So, like, you know, when I was first getting into them, like, I used to chase pictures just like anyone else. You know, I would be like, oh, what are they, where are they, what are they doing? I would look it up, and to me, over time, like, as I saw, like, the full conditions of it and situations where they are being mobbed and stuff like that, you know, I had to pull back. And to me, for me, this is just my opinion, just to me, even if I'm sitting here, like, in my own room, just chilling, looking up stuff, I am no better than the fans mobbing their space by like looking at these pictures and videos that they spread, because I'm contributing to the demand. So, I am reinforcing these people and their behavior, whether they are chasing like a clout high or whatever it is that they are doing in the moment, by sharing and looking at it and talking about it, in a way that's like, oh my god, look at my idol, here they are. Like, you know, by doing that, I'm validating that, indirectly, that I think what they're doing is okay. And I just am not about that. So I just try to stay away from it. So that's why I always say, as fandoms, it starts with us as individuals, and that we have to be aware of the scope of our actions, and that we have to see how it layers over time, and certain things become acceptable when they shouldn't be. And you have to make sure that the fan sites that you do follow are following the rules. Report anyone who isn't. Block those that find themselves blacklisted from companies. A picture is just not worth the invasion of their space or privacy or safety at all. And, you simultaneously have to consider a full situation before blaming a fan site based on any stereotype or anything else. Like, as artists gain attention, these things like fan sites and stuff and everything, like just fans in general, and people who may be prone to be sassing, like, it just grows, and it's something that kicks up around them. And some people make honest mistakes, and some people blatantly break rules, and you just have to do your due diligence to figure out who is doing what. And it's okay to stand up and say, this is not something I am going to participate in, and then just don't participate in it. Like, it's that easy. And I think there are fan sites out there doing wonderful, spectacular, beautiful work, doing great promotions. They came up with great gifts. They donated to amazing funds and charities and stuff. And, they're doing as they promised, which is to respect the idols in a way that also like promotes them in their public schedule. So this exists. This is kind of what I wanted to say about fan sites. I have my usual kind of notes that you guys can go see in the link down below, so that you can see other articles if you'd like to look more into fan sites, and what people have said on like social media about fan sites, so you can understand all the things that I was looking at while I was creating this video. And yeah, that's kind of all I wanted to say. Please leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think about this video, what you think about fan sites, what you think about, a culture or thing about being a fan that maybe doesn't sit well with you, or something you want to talk about. If you have any suggestions for me that you want me to talk about on Simply Series, please let me know. Otherwise, if you like what I do on this channel, please like, please comment, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.